Hey guys.
Hey.
So we've been here for a week now. This is our new home. We live a week tomorrow. We live in Mesa, Arizona now. On the street actually. So this is
Literally
this is a new one for us. We were playing across the street. There's like a little green space for like dogs and kids, and these kids were playing kickball, and they asked if they could play with Aphrodite and Zeus, and they were like, "You guys look familiar." And I was like, "Well, it's probably because we're like staying across the street, right?" I made real vague, and this kid goes, "Oh, you guys are the ones living in the van."
It's us.
Yep.
Everybody knows us. We're the van people.
We're the van people. So this is a very seductive time to be in Arizona. Mark loves it here because it's beautiful here in the winter.
Yep.
We saw that it was snowing in Ohio. Haha, suckers. It was like 80 degrees here. Actually, I got some nice sun on my hike today, so that was lovely.
High sun every day.
So
Nice.
yeah, so we've been loving it out here. When I lived out here when I was younger, I was not like an outdoors person. I was more of a gym rat, and I just had no idea how beautiful it was here. You know, like when we were coming out here, I was like, well, I would never live in Mesa, but Mesa is like blown up, and the Superstition Mountains are very close, and Usury Park is really close, and the desert scape is really beautiful here. Like with the mountains, it's really gorgeous.
Yeah, it surprised me. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do, but yeah, there's mountains all around us. Cactus are really cool. Rock formations in the mountains are really interesting. And unfortunately, it's like perfect 70 to 72 degrees during the day, and mostly sunny, and then down in the low 40s at night. So it's perfect for me.
It is perfect, but I keep reminding him that
Summers are bad.
come June, it's like in the triple digits and like approaching 130 by late July, August. So but it's really good for now. So I started looking for a job, but there's also possibly some interesting connections here that I'm gonna start making. So we'll see. I'm trying to kind of enter the nonprofit world. So the people that we're staying with, whom I consider family, their Mark is heavily involved in the community here and does a lot of outreach with different nonprofit groups in the community. So I'm going to go to an event with him tomorrow and start meeting some people, and who knows, kind of like open to whatever. I just want to do a job that I find meaningful, and preferably with young people, and like working alongside other people that give a shit about humanity and that are focused on making the world a safer place, because a lot of people don't feel safe right now. So I want to be part of the solution. That's where I want to like channel my anger, my disappointment, like into being someone that's helping, not just somebody that's bitching about how bad it is.
See a lot of good possible connections for you there. So
yeah, so
pretty good.
But yeah, so we're staying with this family who took me in 24 years ago when I moved out here and did not have any family out here. So it's really been an absolute blessing to stay with them, and they're so gracious, and
the nicest people I've ever met. They're just so welcoming and open door policy. I mean, there's other people staying here too in the family. They have a big family, so it's kind of like the nucleus. Everybody kind of comes here and stays for a while and goes, does their thing, and comes back. And it's really fun though.
It's like the most real showers I've taken in 5 months. So I'm forever indebted to them. Whatever they need, I've got it. So we haven't talked about our last 3 national parks. So we hit 3 in the Southwest before we landed here. So we hit Carlsbad Caverns, which is in New Mexico, And then we scooted down to Guadalupe Mountains, which is just on the border of Texas and New Mexico, in Texas though. And then we went over to White Sands. Right. So we'll tell you a couple fun facts. So start with Carlsbad. Yeah.
At Carlsbad, the first explorer was actually a 16-year-old cowboy.
Western
White
explorer. Yeah.
I forget when it was, but yeah, he pioneered the whole thing. He was the first explorer to go down in the cave, and others to follow. And next thing you know, there's this huge national park that blew my mind. Parts of this cave were actually filmed in the Journey to the Center of the Earth old movie. So that's interesting too. This is the best, coolest cave I've ever been in.
It's not as big as Mammoth Cave, like in terms of miles of underpassages, but at least the part that we were able to access, at Mammoth Cave, you can only go down like 150 to 200 feet. We went down 750 feet into the earth, which is like...
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And it's just more open there. So there's a room that's called the Big Room, and it's 2,000 feet by 1,100 feet by 225 feet tall, massive. And then it has the bottomless pit in the room, which is 700 feet deep. So everything's just like open and big, and there's lots of stalactites and stalagmites. It's like really visually stunning there. And the caves were formed by acidic groundwater seeping in and kind of digging out the caves, and it turned the limestone into gypsum. So that's pretty cool. It's like a sparkly, if you know what selenite is, it's like what happens when it breaks up. So it's like sparkly and clear, appears white. What else about Carlsbad?
They have this bat flight program.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Every evening at 5 o'clock, they have this
like
bat
sundown
flight program right at dusk. And during the right time of year, this wasn't the right time of year. I think it's in the summertime. At like 5:15ish during this little show, hundreds of thousands of bats swarm out of the cave, and you can sit at this amphitheater right at the mouth
like
of the
fill
cave
the whole
and
sky
see all these bats emerge. Apparently bats themselves are only like 2 or 3 inches big, but the wingspan is
a foot,
I think.
Yeah.
So they're sizable enough to see them, and I guess it looks like a pretty impressive swarm of bats.
We just missed it because it goes up through the end of October. We were there like the first week in November. Yeah. So we tried to see it, but they didn't want to come out, and they said there were only a couple dozen left. So nowhere near the show. Hundreds of thousands. I mean, it must just like black out the whole sky. Yeah. So super fun, especially if you have kids that, I don't know, I think that'd be really cool to bring them. So there's that. All right. And then from there, we went to Guadalupe. Guadalupe has the largest exposed fossilized reef in the world. On
Earth.
On Earth. So all of West Texas was underwater 260 million years ago. And now it's not underwater. Well, probably will be underwater again, but for now. So you can explore that. McKittrick Canyon is known for its fall foliage. So I did like a little run out there myself, and I mean, I was blown away. I had no idea the desert could be this gorgeous. I mean, it was all this white rock, like lining what used to be some kind of creek bed, and then surrounded by fall foliage, and then with the mountains in the background under the blue sky. I mean, you have to go check out my pictures from Guadalupe or our reel from there. I mean, it was just mind-blowing. And then we did a hike called Devil's Hall, and it was equally like visually stunning. And then you get to like these 2 massive rock walls that you can kind of walk between. And I think, wasn't that the way up to Guadalupe Peak?
That might be. I think there was an offshoot somewhere in that trail, and I saw a sign for it. But that is essentially the same way you would go.
And that's the highest peak in Texas. It's just a little over 8,000 feet tall. And actually 4 of the tallest peaks in Texas are all in Guadalupe Mountain National Park.
Yeah. I think Guadalupe Mountain is a little over 8,700 feet, I think.
Yes, you're correct. I see this now. Okay. So a fun fact about that I'm sure my friend Lori, she's going to want to come out here now, is that there is allegedly a lost gold mine there. So supposedly the Apache people knew where this was, and they were always seen with gold. And in the 1870s, this guy, his name was Ben, he was really poor, and he disappeared one day and then came back with a bag of gold and bought like everybody in the town drinks, and then just kept like re-arriving with this gold. People would like try to follow him to see where the gold mine was, and he would just like dust everybody once he got into the mountains because it's very rugged there. And I guess one night he told his friend at the bar where it was, and the next day his friend came back with a big bag of money, but instead of being generous and buying everybody else drinks, he just bought himself drinks for the next month, and was so drunk that by the time his money ran out, he couldn't remember how to find it, and nobody has found it since. So
it's there somewhere.
So there you go. So if you're looking for some adventure, you can come try to find that. All right, cool. And then from there we went to White Sands.
White Sands, yeah. I thought this was going to be a similar experience to the Great Sand Dunes for me, but surprisingly, I want to go back here. It was a really cool place. It became a national park in 2019, so it's not that old as a park, but it has been a national monument since 1933. It's on the biggest military base in the country. I think it's the White Sands Missile Range. There's a lot of military activity surrounding the park.
Is that where we saw
in
the
fact,
signs?
I just reminded me, there are signs along some of the trails on the sand that say, do not pick up anything. Occasionally, military planes drop dangerous items.
Oopsie.
In a national park, really? I don't know. But anyway, military presence is everywhere around this place. So interesting how this is formed. It's not real sand, it's a gypsum. And the gypsum is dissolved by the mountains and then carried into the Tularosa Basin. With the weather patterns, it evaporates into selenite crystals. We've been talking about selenite and gypsum. If you go to rock and gem shops, you'll see selenite. That's actually gypsum. And the wind breaks it down and breaks the selenite crystals down into gypsum sand. And then gypsum sand is it's not hot, so it doesn't absorb heat. So it doesn't matter how hot it is during the day, it's still pretty cool. It's clear, it's crystal, and little scratches on the crystals when they blend together, it reflects the sunlight to make it look white. It's really a beautiful white. It's really right at the base of the blue skies and the little hills and valleys and dunes. Yeah.
The dunes are like they're not like anything like the ones in Colorado, because the ones in Colorado are like 650 to 750 feet tall, and here they're just like little like cutesy rolling hills and a lot easier to navigate, and the dogs love playing out there because there was not very many people out there, so the dogs had a heyday.
But the trails are marked with these little like stakes in the ground, skinny little posts, and you can kind of see them as you follow the trail. So it's pretty easy to follow. Without those, there's no way you'd find out where you're going to go because it's all. And
the dunes move.
Yeah, with the wind, right? I think that's it. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot. If you're still hanging out, yeah. I mean, you haven't seen us in like a couple weeks, so now it's just like over the top.
It's okay.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna be going to Saguaro next week, taking like a couple day trip from here because it's only a few hours. So, yeah, that'll be our next update. We'll try to like get it together a little more, but yeah. your promises. All right.
All right. Till next time.
Peace.
Peace.